last video, we looked at animal cells. In this video, we'll be studying plant cells. Plant cells are very similar to animal cells, but they just have some new organelles and some varied functions. You may ask, why do plant cells have different cells? Why do plants have different cells? This is because plants have varied functions compared to animals. Plants cannot move like humans, right? Or other animals, so they need to produce energy in a different way, which makes up most of the differences in plant cells. This is the diagram of a plant cell. As you can see, most of these organelles we have already looked at in the previous video. Let's look at all the new organelles we have. First comes a cell wall. This is a cell wall. It's a thick structure that is present all over the cell membrane. In the previous video, we saw that animal cells only have a cell membrane, but plant cells have these cell walls. Now, what are cell walls? Cell walls are very important structures in plant cells. They are the outer covering of a cell. They cover the cell membrane, and cell walls have many purposes. One of the main purpose is that they help in maintaining the shape of a cell and keeps it rigid unlike an animal cell. Our trees and plants grow straight and they're able to grow upwards and they're able to hold their shape because of the cell walls. The cell walls control the shape of a cell. It does not change, it is fixed, which is why it allows the plants to grow straight without a bone. Plant cells also have a cell wall to prevent them from bursting. This is when sometimes plant cells can start getting in a lot of water inside them and they can burst. To prevent this, there is a cell wall which only allows the plant cell to expand but not to burst. When you see this, a question may arise that why animal cells don't have cell walls. If animals had cell walls, we we wouldn't have been this flexible because cells make the cell rigid, right? Which means it will have fixed shape, which will prevent us from moving. It is not just us humans. All other animals around the world need movement too. So it is important for us to not have a cell wall. Next up, we have vacuole. You may say, wait, didn't we cover vacuole in the last video already? Yes, we did. But do you notice the difference in the diagram? In animal cells, vacuoles are really small, but in plant cells, they cover, they take up most of the space. And this is because in plant cells, vacuoles are really important. Vacuoles are the biggest organelle in a plant cell, and they're filled with substances like water, and they store minerals, sugar, carbohydrates, and unwanted substances. By unwanted substances, I mean the metabolic waste of a cell. When cells conduct a lot of reactions, and these reactions give us some products which the cell doesn't require. And there are some harmful things for the cell which the vacuole contains to prevent the rest of the cell from getting damaged. Now, what do we normally think of of a wall? A wall is something that just blocks everything, right? But if it blocks everything, how will things come and go out of the cell? Actually, a cell wall doesn't block everything. It allows the movement of some particles, but it does still block most. But to allow the exchange of particles to happen, we have these channels known as plasmodesmata. These are plasmodesmata. These are small channels that come through the cell wall to a cell. These connect various cells around the plant. As we all know, cell membrane is semi-permeable. Just like that, a plasmodesmata is also semi-permeable. Now, this plasmodesmata connects a cell to all its neighboring cells. This allows energy to come inside the cell, things which aren't required by the cell to go out. This can also be dangerous at times as it acts as a pathway for viruses and bacteria to enter the cell at times. Now, the last thing we are going to look at is chloroplast. This is something which we will be looking at in depth in another video as it plays a major role in plants. But for this video, let's go to the main parts. Now, we humans and other animals can move around, hunt food, and get energy. But what about the plants that can't move? They use the energy of the sun. This organelle absorbs sunlight and converts it into chemical energy which can be stored and used by the cells. This process is known as photosynthesis, and this takes place in the chloroplast of every cell. It is important to know that most of the photosynthesis occurs in the leaves, which is why the cells in leaves have the most number of chloroplasts. For your convenience, I have created a table with all the organelles and their function. You can take a screenshot of this and use it for reference later on. This is all for this video. In this video, we cover the various new organelles that are present in a plant cell. I would request you all to make a table or something to differentiate plant cells from animal cells to get a better understanding. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment down your thoughts about the video.